Manitoba and that defeat. The real one has arrived now. It's going to be a very testing night for New Zealand.
Well, we had a severe weather warning at about 11:30 this morning. There's been snow in Christchurch in the South Island, and the wind has been whipping through the Cook Strait. Ireland's interim coach Michael Bradley has of course been forced into a midfield change, with Paddy Wallace coming in for the unfortunate Luke Fitzgerald. Donegal O'Callaghan plays in the second row alongside Paul O'Connell, and Brian O'Driscoll returns as captain after missing the Babas match, and Owen Redden as well, pumped after Wasps' premiership triumph. And there are a few chaps from Munster as well who have reasons to be cheerful. In fact, there are 7 members of the pack that began the Heineken Cup final. The lone gate crasher is Jamie Heaslip. Well, a big night for Brian O'Driscoll. Can he rouse his troops here in 2006? They lost the 2 tests, but it was pretty close. And that, of course, was after Munster won the Heineken Cup, which, of course, they did again this time. Can they go one step further against these guys, the All Blacks? And, of course, they've got Hurricanes halfbacks, Hurricane centres, they've got Crusaders halfbacks and Crusaders locks. And Stuart, is that safety first or smart management?
No, I don't think it's safety first. I think it's appropriate selection in that it's a balanced team. And there you can see the pack. Thorne and Williams, exactly what you're talking about, Mark.
Yeah, just 6 men today starting. New Zealand 15 began against France. Mills Muliaina, Sidi Vatu, Dan Carter, Ali Williams, Richie McCaw and Rodney Soyalo. Carl Heyman, Luke McAllister and Aaron Major amongst those who tunnelled out. But it's still a strong-looking side with one new cap. Anthony Tuitavaki starts on the right wing. And there are 5 members of the Crusaders side that won the Super 14 last Saturday against the Waratahs. McCaw, Williams, Brad Thorne, Andrew Ellis and Carter. Well, Graham Henry is slightly hamstrung by injuries to Tony Woodcock and Brendan Leonard, while Greg Somerville is resting and Kieran Reid is on an approved short-term recuperative sabbatical.
Ireland's call, Pat Higgins.
There you can see the conditions. It really is appalling out there.
And the glory, we have come to answer our country's call. Proud provinces, Ireland, 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 together stand. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call. Ireland, Ireland, together stand. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call. We will answer Ireland's call.
There have been quite a few barbs aimed at the All Blacks here in the newspapers. New Zealand Herald, for one, they wonder if the old codes of All Black loyalty remain, and have the players
And
lost
to
faith
sing the
in their
national
masters.
anthem of New Zealand, Elizabeth Marvelly.
He
beginnings of the conditions, though, appalling out there. And Stuart, this Irish side full of Munster men in the pack. Munster have played a lot of their excellent rugby this season in very poor conditions. Will that encourage the Irish and make this New Zealand side more nervous?
No, Wayne Smith wanted the All Blacks to keep the ball in hand and maintain the pace of the game. The Irish defence and O'Gara, in contrast, will relish these conditions. If O'Connell and friends could squeeze the line out, then this could be an unforgettable night for Ireland. Now, the haka.
January night in Limerick, which will not concern this Irish side one jot. This match really has bubbled to a froth over the past week here in the country's capital. You should see the Andy Henry diatribes posted on various websites. Has he lost the nation after the Cardiff nutcracker? Have the players lost the fans? We shall see. A match of real significance for so many people, for so many reasons, Stuart.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's very difficult for New Zealand here because unless they win a World Cup, the jibes won't stop coming. They're under pressure, but I've been coming here for 25 years, and under pressure, New Zealand normally provide an answer.
The referee is Chris White, and Ireland feel that having a Northern Hemisphere referee may help, with New Zealand possibly hardwired in the ways of the ELVs, and the IRB has issued 3 fresh directives. Referees are to be very vigilant in the tackle, notably sealing off, and hands on the rock, both in defence and attack, and eliminating crooked feed at the scrums. There's Conrad Smith, one of the Wellington Hurricanes, playing alongside his teammate, Man Nonu, Rodney Soyala, one of the big ball carriers alongside Jerome Kano, and it's Ronan O'Gara who starts this test match in Wellington. And Ireland charging forward straight away through Marcus Horan. Good hands for the Munster loosehead. Here's Owen Ring, fresh from Silverwell with walks. He'll be covered. What a hit by McCall. That was classic McCall. He's had an excellent Super 14 with the Canterbury Crusaders, and they get the ball. He's a real groundhog, is Richie McCall, a legend.
New Zealand not afraid to actually counter as well. They've really been emphasising the fact they want to keep the pace of the game up. I just wonder how brave they will be in these conditions. It is really turbulent out there. Such a big battle here as well. Paul O'Connell, as the guys in the studio said, has been superb. His battle with Ali Williams of fundamental importance.
That's a good take by O'Callaghan. The first line out works well. In this swirling wind in the cake tin, it's more like a candy floss machine. The way the wind behaves in here. There's Sparrow. Well, the ball on the rock has to be cleaned out with the feet. You cannot put the hands in there. That's part of this new directive. And here's Paul O'Connell. It's actually enforcing the original law. And Ireland trying to drive again on the halfway line.
It's a collapse more that's been pushed back with scrum.
Chris White blows the whistle, and the scrummage goes the way of the All Blacks here. And it's going to be interesting, this battle up front too. 1 and 3 for the All Blacks. Tialata and Afoa, 2 huge lumps. Afoa is built like a beach hut.
Well, it won't matter at all if New Zealand keep winning turnovers, Mark. Scrummage is important, but Ireland cannot afford to carry ball into situations and not win it. That's a worrying start for Ireland, a very fine one for New Zealand.
It's not going in there, lads. Come back.
Andrew Ellis is the scrum half of the Canterbury Crusaders. Played a couple of times at the World Cup, his 5th appearance tonight, and there's John Afoa.
Second rows, please.
the 24-year-old from Auckland. And on the other side, the mountainous 19.5 stones of Tialata. And that's in a little bit of space. Across comes Rob Carney. He's got to be quick there. Tuitavaki was up quickly, and Dan Carter has covered back inside his own 22. Carney is one of the kick chasers, and it goes back to Tommy Bowe. He handles it and then shuffles the ball off his boot into touch, and ironic cheers all around the kick, Tim.
Very nervous there from Tommy Bowe. He played pretty well for Ireland this season, had a very good Heineken Cup and Magners League. But he's got to let that one go. If he doesn't know his geography, the kick there is panicky, and there's tactical kicking so important there. Carney's initial kick was a good one. Carter's was excellent, but Ireland tried to force it. You mustn't overdo the percentages here. It's a really good attacking position for Andrew Hall now.
Ali Williams is not the target. It's Rodney Soyalo. They do have exceptional options in the line-out to the All Blacks. Here's Richie McCaw. He drives into contact inside the 22. And will New Zealand try to play this fast-paced handling game in attack? And the Packs certainly are working as enforcers so far. That's superb stuff, making excellent meters. Look at that, they go again, breaking off and pause, picking and going. The Irish under considerable pressure here. The two props now working in tandem. Tialata takes 3 men to bring him down. It's a very muscular start by this New Zealand pack. They're turning ball over. And they're also looking very bullish indeed. And it's Dennis Leamy. Desperation tackle from Leamy. And now the ball does move wide, and here's the first opportunity, and the interception by David Wallace, who's just tackled. That was crucial because Wallace does have pace, and Ireland get the penalty and the escape.
Well played, David Wallace there, as Ireland go very quickly, just driving the ball backwards. But Marnonu, first touch of the ball, and he loses it. As New Zealand under Muliaina, charged down.
And the charge down, and Tommy Bowe goes in, and isn't it try?
No, hits the flag.
Post, just a 22. No, hit the post.
Well, back they come, and it was so close though. Tremendous charge down by Ireland. Again, that's the second time they've been up very, very quickly on the kicker.
Reddin's kick was excellent. It turned New Zealand. Mills Muliaina very slow there. And Ireland deprived by a matter of inches there. New Zealand on the line, couple of errors, 70 metres backwards. It's one of those nights in these conditions.
Dan Carter gets a lot of height on that restart. It's very well claimed. Here's O'Gara. Then he looks for height. The ball chased hard again. It's allowed to bounce, but the whistle's gone once more as Ireland felt that they had potentially an opportunity.
I think Sivivatu was taken out there. Early tackle, Chris White's showing it. You can watch now Horgan just in early, arms all over him. Sivivatu milked it to make sure the English referee saw it, but White is absolutely right there. Good kicking from O'Gara though, it wasn't long, but in these conditions, go high and give yourself a chance.
Here's O'Gara again. And once more, driving it into the middle of the field. Tuitavaki builds Muliaina. That's very well taken by Rob Carney. He's got a good step, and it was Tuitavaki did the tackle, but didn't bring his man conclusively to the turf. Superb from Carney. And now here's O'Gara. It's a fast-paced start here to this game. Very nasty conditions indeed. Dan Carter outside the 22, was it?
But not been a good start from Dan Carter either, has it? The golden boy of New Zealand rugby. Here you can see Carney on the counter. Good step. Tuitavaki there doesn't tackle him. He just puts the shoulder in so the Irish fullback can get up and go again. Fortunately, O'Gara's kick wasn't a good one, but then his counterpart, Carter, made a real mess of it. Nervous start from the All Blacks now.
There's Jerry Flannery, one of the Munster 7 in this Irish pack. Of course, they spent a long period of the last couple of weeks on open top bus tours around their province. Flammery throws to O'Connell, the old 1-2 that's worked so well over the years for province and country. Flammery back to his electric, his mobile, versatile best, and he's in possession now. In comes McCaw with the tackle on the fringe. Trying to drive a hole through the middle here, but the penalty for hands on the ground, says Chris White, and perhaps the first scoring opportunity on a difficult night for kickers in these swirling conditions.
Yeah, I don't know whether that decision has anything to do with the ELVs. That's just a team going backwards, and Andrew Hall getting very nervous there. In for Anton Oliver, and now a great chance for Ronan O'Gara. There will be no easy kick here. The non-kicking foot is going to slip. Every 3 points matters. You don't feel this is going to be one of those 30-25 games. Here you can see the penalty. Hall, hands on the right. There it is. Couldn't resist it. Sweeps it back with the right hand. O'Gara, the Heineken Cup final. No real long-range kicks, nothing too difficult, but the key was everyone he was expected to get, he nailed. This is a kick Ronan O'Gara is expected to get.
There you are, Ireland's top point scorer of all time. Not the silence he's used to at Thomond Park, but it didn't affect O'Gara, and he puts Ireland into the lead here in the New Zealand capital by 3 points to 0.
And it is important for Ireland to start well, get their fans going, but perhaps more importantly still, to silence a New Zealand public that is disaffected. And if Ireland are up at 60, this crowd could well turn. It's been that sort of mood in Wellington.
Up goes O'Connell. That's
majestic.
Classic take by O'Connell. He does seem to have elastic vertebrae when he climbs for those balls.
Well, that's great weather rugby by Ireland. Munster's big two. O'Connell had no right to hold on to that.
Well, we apologise for the loss of pictures for the moment. That storm over Wellington causing a bit of a break-up. As far as New Zealand are concerned, though, Fitzy, a little bit of a shaky start as far as they're concerned?
Yeah, they started well early on. They showed a bit of muscle. McCaw turning that over at the tackle. But they're now getting a bit bustled now. That Munster influence and the weather is playing a huge part in this. They're just going to be careful that Munster don't get on top here.
OK, pictures are back. Let's get back to the commentary team.
In comes Ellis. Difficult ball to take, but Conrad Smith did well there. Now Ellis again down the blind side, and Ireland making a big hit on the gain line. Brian O'Driscoll it was. Carter looks to Manonu. Ellis again, and Rob Carney takes up a good position. He's got a strong left boot as Carney. He drills the ball deep. It's Mills Muliaina now, the fullback, from the narrowest of angles.
Well, that's wonderful play from Carney again. Andrew Ellis at the moment is just giving the Irish back three too much space. And Ireland are returning it with plenty in hand there. There's a boo from the home crowd, but Mills Muliaina ambled across. He allowed the ball to get to the tightest of angles. And once again, Paul O'Connell can look at his backs and see them eating chunks of ground up there. The kicking game at the moment is definitely going the way of the visitors.
Well, 18 of the Irish 22 have won silverware the last few weeks. So Callaghan climbs, Redden is one of them. Guinness Premiership title for him. O'Gara chips through, and back goes Tui Tavaki. Newcastle under pressure here. He's going to get caught. He's smothered. He's eaten alive there. The Irish pack arrived quickly, but New Zealand regroup crucially. Fialata goes in with the right foot to release the ball for Ellis. Carter. And Ireland really are chasing very, very hard. Every time New Zealand get the ball in shape to kick, there seems to be a green shirt right there.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being put on by Ireland, and New Zealand aren't relishing it. Anthony Tuitabaki's got some of the fastest feet in New Zealand, but the mind was very slow there. And O'Gara, nothing special about the kick, but you skid it behind a team, and in these conditions, anything might happen.
The fiery Flannery. What will the option be this time? Well, it goes right away over the back to Suialo. So that's one up for New Zealand. Second time Suialo's got his hands on the ball in the line out. The ball is not out of play. Yes, it is. Shane Horgan thought he'd managed to keep it in field.
Bit of an error there from Shane Horgan. Perhaps he should have let that one go. Disappointed. Dan Carter has not started well, and with all his experience, yeah, that's a 3mm mistake, but it's a big one, isn't it? The little things make a big difference on nights like this.
Andrew Hoare as the high tower figure of Valley Williams, and there he is in the centre of that line-out. Brad Thorne, his Crusader teammate, in front of him. It goes to Williams. Big line-out presence you'd expect him to be tonight.
Think back to 2005, Ali Williams and Chris Jack demolished the Lions in the wet conditions at Christchurch. Brilliant.
Carter. And that's straight to Tommy Bowe, who gathers the ball well. Straight to Mills Muliaina. And fires it to Carter. And again, Roll Carney taking up a good position on this near touchline. And he slices that one.
It's a confident start from Carney, but he's actually almost gone for that banana kick that you see more and more players using then. And once again, he had no angle, but he should have just settled for just driving that one towards the towards the goal line. That's too speculative. That's too ambitious. Difficult start for Carter. And of course, there's all the speculation of how much money is he going to be paid. He's going to have to play a bit better than this, otherwise Toulon or Biarritz might be reconsidering.
Well challenged there by Ireland, and it was Paul O'Connell getting into the mix. But New Zealand somehow have got the ball back, and it's Ellis, and it's Richie McCaw to Dan Carter. They do move it through Conrad Smith. Conrad Smith, a great break. Beautiful hands by Conrad Smith. Sivivatu scores the first try of the game. It was beautifully constructed by the All Blacks. You have to say that. Ecstasy for them. What a finish.
Well, Daniel Carter moved into midfield, and Ireland were just stretched wider. And I'm afraid, as Paul O'Connell talked, it's the captain, Brian O'Driscoll, who misses the key tackle here. Just for a moment, you thought Ireland had the ball. Horan had his hands on it. It's a brilliant turnover by Andrew Hoare. Now watch this. McCaw goes into the first position. Carter's wider, but Brian O'Driscoll drifts early on Conrad Smith. Smith, ball in two hands, dummy, and then O'Driscoll doesn't have the pace to get to him. The time is exquisite, and Sivivatu knows that you're going to slide on this wet surface. It's brilliantly done between them. Well played, Conrad Smith. Sivivatu, all he's got to be is intelligent and finish. But Brian O'Driscoll got in a bad position. He got turned, and he didn't have the pace to get back there. That try really belongs to Conrad Smith. His was the crucial intervention there.
Sibeni Sivivatu, his 22nd try in his 22nd international.
Some strike rate. Ireland will want to test him defensively today. They won't want to be tested by him in attack too much so.
So Dan Carter, whose kick return rate has actually been pretty poor in the Super 14 this season, and he misses there. But it was interesting as well, Stuart, to see the position that Richie McCaw had taken up in that attack.
Yeah, as I was saying, Richie McCaw just slipped out to allow that man Carter to play almost as centre. Ireland was stretched there, and suddenly they lost their geography, and Brian O'Driscoll was really beaten all ends up there by Conrad Smith. The virtue of carrying the ball in two hands, the virtue of a very intelligent outside centre.
And they allow the ball to bounce there dangerously. Ellis does well, but nobody claimed it for the All Blacks. And the result is a scrummage to Ireland.
Well, that's awful from the All Blacks. But that's a fine chase from Ireland, who chased well. Ali Williams at the last minute thinks it's not mine. Andy Ellis doesn't claim him. Really good chase in there from all of Ireland. Wayne Smith and Graham Henry enjoy the try. They will have hated that.
Jerome Kalo doing all the shouting there at number 8. Sorialo in this near side, of course, more used to playing at number 8 for New Zealand. Has only played once in that 6 jersey against Wales. So it's an interesting combination in the back row by New Zealand.
And Richie McCaw defending, wearing 7, but he's defending blindside. Sorialo is very quick and hits hard. Maybe New Zealand just worried about a 15-metre short side and McCaw's ability to snuff out and then use Sorialo. But it's fascinating, isn't it?
Well, Jimmy Heaslip at number 8 there has got a bit of pace. He's a real try-scoring number 8. 7 tries in the Magners League last season, 2 tries against the Babas in Ireland's friendly outing before this tour.
But it's very important if Ireland are to do anything here that Heaslip, Reddin and co are given a really good platform. They don't have to go far, this Irish front row, but just enough of a nudge to let Heasley exploit his pace.
Munster from 5, of course. Horan, Flannery, Hayes, O'Connell, O'Callaghan.
Might not be the greatest scrummagers, but they're one of the canniest. I think New Zealand will think Horan was under a little bit of pressure there from John Afoa. But of course that is going to be a lot of slippage here today. It's treacherous.
Well, Afoa's nickname is the Animal. And the free kick goes to Ireland, taken quickly by Dennis Levy. Levy thinks he sees a gap here. In comes O'Connell behind him. The All Blacks defend desperately. The drive is on. Can they get over and get the ball down? Chris White is right on top of it. And he can't see the ball grounded.
Well, he's certain. I think Andrew Hoare is underneath it. White in a great position, but New Zealand have not gone back 10. Here's the drive. It's great low body positions. Carter's there. Hall's getting his big hands over it, and Ireland for a split second.
And they go again. Redden waits, and there's big forwards to his left. David Wallace is one. Flannery is there, and Jamie Heaslip, and now Levy again right underneath the posts. Using the feet, rock the ball back. There goes Horan. Tries to go over the top, take the direct route. Important moments you feel for Ireland here. Got to make it count. Not knocked forward though. John Hayes recovers the situation, and now there is a chance out wide. They must score surely, and Paddy Wallace gets in for Ireland. What a magnificent score by the men in green, and they have hit back hard almost instantly.
Well, did Ireland get fortunate there? Because I think the pack were going to go for glory there until David Wallace lost control of the ball, and that was almost a trigger moment for Reddin and co to come short side. O'Gara's come late, and Sivivatu, it's a 2-on-1, nowhere to go there. Horgan's in space, and Wallace is quick. It's a great switch by Ronan O'Gara, but New Zealand a little bit slow there. Williams has got no chance against the centre. Sivivatu is left hopelessly exposed. And that's a very good fight back from Ireland. They needed something. They're going to have to get scores when they get a bit of possession and territory. They've done just that.
Well, we've seen the good, the bad and the ugly already in this match this evening as Paddy Wallace gets his second try for Ireland. Scored one in his debut against the Pacific Islands. What an important one that could be against the All Blacks. O'Gara strikes it. So difficult here this evening and misses. Carter's missed one. O'Gara as well. But Ireland right back in this game quite clearly. 8 points to 5. They now lead the All Blacks in Wellington.
I don't think New Zealand will be very happy with their defence, but Ireland, the door was slightly open and Paddy Wallace sprinted through it, but it all came from a terrible restart. Now we've just had one awful restart received from New Zealand that ended up with that position that cost them, and now there's been a really poor one from New Zealand. Daniel Carter is having a very difficult afternoon, and because of that New Zealand just aren't relaxed at the moment. They look a tense team. Ireland need to exploit this tension within the All Blacks ranks.
Yes, we've seen some clumsy errors from the All Blacks so far here in the rain in Wellington. And Owen Redden gets rid of the football. Presumably it's punctured, a little bit like the All Blacks defence was a couple of seconds ago.
Didn't react quickly at all. And of course, you know, they've got Soialu and 8 playing 6, McCaw sometimes defending blind. There's experimentation going on defensively, and Ireland found the hole.
Well, the free kick goes to New Zealand there.
I hate that when you see someone just tap it, kick it back with the free kicks given. The refs never look to say 10 metres for slowing it down. They should. Redden knew what he was doing, slowed it down, so New Zealand cannot tap and go. Of course, not only has to go in straight, Chris White wants it in early, and that is a delay there. And there's a lot of pressure coming on, you know. Marcus Horan, I think, is having a hard time of it.
Olafoa is known as a beastly scrummager, and this is Ellis.
That's better.
Carney. No room at all to work in there, Carney. And it's Dan Carter. A little look. Tommy Bowe, nobody really pressurising him there. And he finds O'Gara, who was pressurised, had to be hasty.
And 1 or 2 sort of raised eyebrows in the crowd there, because of course under ELVs, passing the ball back into 22, you can't kick it out, but we are playing the old rules. And Ireland did very well there. Good chase by Sivivatu, but O'Gara very cool indeed.
As Chris White said before the game, I'm just going to referee the old laws. It's up to the All Blacks to adapt. They may be a little bit hard-wired, as they have been playing the ELVs all through the Super 14. But here's Andrew Horn. It's Brad Thorne who takes it this time.
Hasn't really been an issue in the first 24 minutes. It's been more elementary errors from New Zealand that's been their problem.
Richie McCaw on the shoulder. John Afoa is there. Tialata. Brad Thorne and Soialu, and Tialata really is a very difficult man to get the ball off and hard to stop. He does seem to make ground every time he gets the ball. And the penalty is given against Ireland here. Hands on the ground in a potentially kickable position here.
Very dynamic, that New Zealand drive. They're very quick. The Munster players who played Toulouse were up against a far more static driving game from the French. This is much harder and faster. It's very interesting, you know. Tialata was dropped by the Hurricanes, didn't start in the semi-final against the Crusaders, but it's Mike Cron, the scrummaging coach of New Zealand, who said he wants him in. So he has seen something, and what he's seen is a very powerful carrier and a lot of potential. And New Zealand at the moment are trying to tap into that potential.
The titanic servant of Irish rugby, Big John Hayes. Carter, well, he may be a global rugby icon, but he hasn't made a great start here. It's Roll Carney who clears again downfield, and it's Mills Muliaina. Some see him more as a centre or a full back, and that's very well claimed in the air. Skipper's roll.
By a centre playing as a full-back. Well done, Brian O'Driscoll. With Dan Carter, you just felt he needed that kick to settle him. He's not into his game at all. O'Driscoll, bad moment when Conrad Smith turned him inside out, but that's really good play. And there will be moments when you've just got to fight and you've got to do the basics, and Ireland scrapping literally for everything there. I think our New Zealand cameraman was hoping for a bit of skullduggery and a bit of boot. It's called rucking, sir.
Wait for the call, lads.
Brad O'Driscoll's used to skullduggery in New Zealand, isn't he?
Oh, let's not start that again. Let's not start that again. It wasn't pretty, but it is something that goes on in Super 14. I'm not to get on the Alistair Campbell, let's spin a myth.
Well, Red, not to get this one in quickly this time. He should have learned his lesson from being penalised. It's shot through, and he's look at the pressure put on him there by Ellis and by McCaw. But Ireland getting the penalty here.
Bit of pressure on Ireland's scrum there. I think it's a combination of Chris White saying to Owen Redding, get it in quickly, and Ireland going through fast. Ellis did a very good job. I think Richie McCaw is involved in that, though. He's off his feet, and it's not the first time. He's a great flanker, but great flankers do play right on the edge there.
So Ireland's puppeteer, Ronan O'Gara, kicks for touch. And so far, a very satisfactory first half indeed for Ireland as they lead the All Blacks here by 8 points to 5. Sivi Vadu with the first try. Paddy Wallace with the score for Ireland. Paddy Williams organising things in the line-out, screaming the calls as they try to break the code on Ireland's throw, and it goes to O'Connell. And it's Redden, and he had to be careful there because Soyalo was up pretty quickly, as was McCaw.
McCaw had flanked outside Soyalo. He knew it couldn't go, but I think he's turned over here, Redden.
Yet again, it's Ellis to Carter, and the Irish defence was up very fast and hard here, and now they're under pressure. Here's Carney, and Carney just gets the ball away. There were 4 All Blacks surging up in a blanket there.
Well, that's the danger of getting turned over. Ireland's defence all at sea, and in the end, Carney gets quite lucky. Pressure coming on all Mills Muliain, and think, why doesn't that ball just spin in field?
So far, the All Blacks have looked very competitive on the Irish throw.
Well, they're shading the line-out battle, and I know Ireland are winning at the moment, but in these conditions, line-out is so important. They're putting pressure on the scrum. So in the set piece, New Zealand will be quite happy. This is a moment when O'Callaghan, O'Connell have got to make this theirs and drive it. Don't go clever, don't go long.
Oh, and it's gone straight to Rodney Soyalo. I think that's the 3rd line-out he's taken. And there's confirmation. And now it's John Afoa who drives. Yet again, they're using 1 and 3, the 2 props, to take the ball up, and McCaw is in there. And here's Andrew Hoare, who leaves it for Ellis. Ali Williams. Massive ball carrier for New Zealand. Here's Richie McCaw. Underneath the Irish posts, the All Blacks are close again. Soyalo and Afoa try to drag Williams ever closer to that line, and McCaw tries to burst through. He is such a dangerous individual as Richie McCaw. Pounding away at this Irish line. Bulldozing again and again. And here's Afoa, he tries to break off. It's Shane Horgan who has to make the tackle. Dangerous moments for Ireland, very dangerous moments. Man Nonu, 16 stone of centre, almost on top of the line there.
Well, Ireland are having problems coping with the sheer dynamism of the pick and drive. There's 2 ways to go. Munster will pick and drive as a way of counting the clock down. We saw that in the final of the Heineken. But New Zealand are altogether more aggressive in their play here. And guys like John Afoa, Tialata, McCaw, they're really exploding onto the ball. They're not running far, but when they are carrying it, it's quick. And Ireland are under pressure all the time. And you thought then maybe that man Marnonu was in, but O'Connell and O'Callaghan between them held them out. But this is very dangerous for Ireland. They just moved the ball away from the point of contact so quickly there. And Afoa is a strong carrier. He had a mid-season injury for the Blues. He's come back fresh. And Ireland being stretched hard there. And New Zealand, as they did against France, deciding the best route to the try line is through their big dynamic forwards.
Yes, that defeat against France, one of only 3 in their last 32 internationals for New Zealand. And this Graham Henry's 49th match in charge, and he's won 42 of those, but still vilified for that one defeat. Of course, it was a pretty significant one.
Well, in New Zealand, the Blacks are so used to winning just about everything all the time, but there's only one game that really matters, and that's the World Cup final. And if you don't get there or you lose it, then scratch the last 4 years. It's an unforgiving world here. It really is.
And so Ireland need a good scrummage against this powerful front row, and it's Jerome Kano. David Wallace does well, so does Jamie Heaslip. But it's New Zealand ball, and they've shown good hands in these dreadful conditions. Retention excellent. David Wallace is coming in from the side there, you could see it, and Chris White is playing the advantage to New Zealand as Andrew Ellis chips through. He knew he had the penalty coming. Touchdown by Owen Redden.
Some of the very best teams will, in the end, if they think they have to concede 3 points, do it. David Wallace, I think they felt this pressure was getting really stern. In the end, Ellis put that little chip through because it was a kick to nothing. He wouldn't have done that if he hadn't got the penalty. There you go, left of your screen. Wallace straight in round the side. I think he's just trying to close this out and say, look, you've had 4 minutes on our line. You're very close. 3 points we'll live with. 7, ouch, that'll hurt. And I think Wallace has made a decision there.
John Schwalger is loosening up on the touchline. The vast bulk of Schwalger, the Hurricane, and John Afoa really is struggling, as has this man been in the opening half, Daniel Carter. But this should be straightforward. And is.
Well, after that concerted pressure, I think Ireland will probably accept 3 points against them there. Some encouragement for the New Zealand fans, but it doesn't get them off their seats, or not too many of them anyway.
And quite a few empty seats here as well at the Cake Tin, the Westpac Stadium in Wellington.
That just emphasises the disillusionment that is pervasive at the moment, and Ireland have got to make that work for them.
Sivivatu gathering the ball with a little bit of help from Ali Williams. And John Schwalger, the 24-year-old, 19 stones, is on for Afoa, but Afoa has had an excellent first half.
Yeah, stretched now, aren't they, New Zealand, in the front row department, because of course Tony Woodcock's injured, Carl Heyman is away, Greg Somerville played in Super 14, he's rested. Ireland might just fancy their chances here of at least being steady on the scrum now, but not at the line out.
No, I think, is that 4 they've lost in the line out of this first half? 3 to Soialo, and that's Ali Williams this time in possession for the All Blacks. 6 minutes to go to half-time. 8 points each here in an absolutely gripping and fascinating first half. Rob Kearney has been seen on the wing for Ireland, but it's the 15 shirt that he wants to make his own. And here's Mills Muliaina. Kearney tracked that ball all the way, and it's Tommy Bowe, who's also played at fullback as well as on the wing and in the centre, and he looked comfortable there.
He pinballed off Richie McCall, set the ball up well for his pack.
O'Gara at the midfield. Horgan, I think, thought the ball was destined for him. He stuck his hands out.
Not a night for loopy midfield passes when you got forwards not expecting it.
O'Gara, oh, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. And Ireland could pay here. And it's the dreadlock destroyer, Soialo, who gains possession yet again. And here's Nonu. And they were hoping to make it a mismatch in midfield using Nonu against Paddy Wallace. Hasn't quite been that way so far. And it's Muliaina who takes the ball in. And remember, this all came from that O'Gara speculative chip. Tried to dart it through the All Blacks cover and gave the ball away. Will Ireland pay for it? Carter, miss move is on here. Oh, what about Schwalger, who flapped the ball.
Well, you're right, the miss move was on, but when you've got a replacement prop just on the pitch, then it sort of negates it without the presence of any green jerseys there. If he does catch that, he's standing flat, he's in the game, what is he going to do? It takes a high-class player to control a ball just on in a test match in these conditions, and Svolga might be a good prop, but he ain't a high-class outside centre.
So there's Andrew Hoare, they've got Kevin Mialamu on the bench, very experienced player if required. Another Wellington Hurricane, Andrew Hoare, so playing in his home stadium. And it goes straight to Rodney Soialo, to Ellis. And now Dan Carter. And again, it's the thunderous Manonu, but he's well marshalled there and brought to ground. It's good defence again by Ireland.
Yeah, they're just getting the nudge at the moment, aren't they? Just not enough of the threat inside Nonu. Ireland are getting numbers there in the double tackling.
And turning the ball over.
Brilliant play.
And he wants O'Gara. Oh, and that was Sivi Vatu up quickly that time. Well, that's a fantastic result from Ronan O'Gara, who had to scurry rapidly.
Well, he put his team in problems when he tried to thread one along the ground, and that man Soialo, who's ubiquitous, got to it. This time, a lot of pressure on O'Gara. He's really getting squeezed by the All Blacks, but that's a good kick there. Really good kick. Albeit that New Zealand are winning the line-out battle at the moment, but at least Ireland are forcing them to throw on their own 22. Territorially, Ireland are where they want to be.
Well, can Ireland now produce some burglary on the All Blacks ball? It goes to Brad Thorne. That's pretty well controlled. Here's Carter. Oh, Shane Horgan knocks the ball on the All Blacks. Pounce in a pack.
I was just saying that's another nothing kick from Daniel Carter, and bad conditions, but Shane Horgan's going to be really irritated with himself. He takes those in his sleep. And there was nobody within sight of Horgan. No chase on there.
Second row. Tracks. Touch. Balls
Scrimmage by the All Blacks, and Jerome Kano picks up and drives through the heart of that Irish pack.
There's no problem there. There's no problem. Be quiet. Sorry, Christoph, say again.
It's interesting to see with Tialata now. I don't think they want his Folger on so quickly. Question marks about his fitness. Hasn't played throughout Super 14, and I wonder if New Zealand will tire a little bit in the tight five in the last 10-15.
And now, of course, having to switch to the tight head side.
Yeah.
With a forward going off. But New Zealand getting the penalty here into the final minute of this first half. Stuart, your thoughts on the Irish performance in the first half? How the All Blacks will be feeling?
Well, Ireland will worry about the line out. There's no doubt about that. It's an area where New Zealand have been dominant, but Ireland have been extremely competitive at the breakdown. Perhaps with the old laws, they're just slightly more comfortable and they're a split second quicker. They've managed one or two turnovers, and when New Zealand have switched off, Ireland have switched on, and they've got the point. I think Ronan O'Gara has controlled things pretty well at the moment. They'll need a better line out. They'll need a moment of inspiration from O'Driscoll, but 8-all, they are where they want to be at half-time. The New Zealand crowd are nervous.
Ball not coming in quickly enough. Ireland were penalised for that at a scrummage. Now New Zealand penalised at the line-out. Ollie Williams wants a full explanation. Into injury time at the end of this first half.
And they go in at half-time, 8-all. It's like they've scaled one or two stages of a very big mountain.
And deciding to play the ball through David Wallace. Interesting. There goes the hooter, and Owen Redden decides to pump the ball into touch. And Ireland sprint away to the corner, to the sanctuary of the dressing room. They'll be pretty happy with the way things are going. It's 8-all here at half-time. Sivi Vatu with the opening try. The reply from Paddy Wallace. But can Ireland maintain the momentum in the second half?
Yeah, the All Blacks playing like a team under pressure. Ireland, though, not allowing them to settle. New Zealand striking first through Sivivatu. Ireland responding immediately through Paddy Wallace. They are locked at the break, 8 apiece.
Spot on with their line-out. Otherwise, that set piece will prove their undoing.
Dan Carter then knocks one deep. Taken by David Wallace. The 3 Wallace brothers playing for the Lions, of course. And it's Marcus Horan now who takes it on into the bulky figure of John Schwalger. Redden, little bit of indecision there, but the bounce was fortunate for the scrum half, and it's Carney who clears downfield. Tui Tavaki got his foot to the ball, and now it's Dan Carter who drills one forward. Well, that's well covered by the Wasps scrum half, who chases desperately hard there. And Ireland have done that all night long. They've tried to put pressure on the receiver.
Daniel Carter, once again, he kicked it straight into the hands of Owen Reddin and then ambled towards the touchline after Reddin's return kick, and then just puts it out 10 metres or so. Now, this is the guy who in 2005 delivered what I thought was one of the masterclasses of fly-half play in modern times. He's just not the same man at the moment.
Flannery to O'Connell. Well taken by O'Connell, and Ireland, as Stuart Barnes quite rightly pointed out, must get this function super efficiently in this second half.
If we start to say Flannery to O'Connell and you keep saying it and the rhythm comes, then Ireland might just get pretty excited. Vital.
Counter charge there by the All Blacks. The advantage here going to Ireland, though. Redden, look at McCaw bolting, and he almost created a little bit of a hole there, but they're going to come back for the penalty. There's an injury, and number 6 is Rodney Soialo, collapsing the maul under the ELVs, which come in on the 1st of August. That will be legal. Bit of blood for Soialo, and a chance for O'Gara possibly to put Ireland back into the lead here.
How I'm looking forward to the legality of the collapse maul. The idea of slowing the game down, I understand, wanting to speed it up, but really it's a dangerous thing. And there we see the Soialo injury, and then the ball in his face for good measure. But geez, referees have a hard enough time understanding when it's pulled down or not, and if you can just pull it down willy-nilly, when does dangerous play come in? Anyway, that's the Elves. This is Ireland, New Zealand. It's 8-all, and Ireland are giving a really good account of themselves here.
Well, coming onto the pitch is the Woolly Mammoth. That's his nickname, Adam Thompson.
No,
and there's the maul coming down.
Tell me how that cannot be dangerous. I understand that the lawmakers want to make this game one-dimensional and take it away from people with a brain who like the ability to go fast and hard and slow. But frankly, that just seems a criminal, a mad decision to me. These blokes are all coming in at 17, 18, 19 stone. You pull down 4 of them.
Well, they say they've tested it, but there hasn't been an increase in injury, which is incredibly hard to believe.
Well, yeah, but where? At Stellenbosch with a bunch of students.
Yeah.
Richie McCaw ain't no student anymore, you know. This is cynical stuff going on. This is test match sport.
O'Gara. Is it a sweet strike by O'Gara? Yes, it is. And Ireland move into the lead once more by 11 points to 8 on a tropical night in Wellington.
Well, there's Rodney Soialo. He'd be a blow if he went, because I think he's been outstanding, really. And Thompson now, great chance for him. But that's a fine kick from O'Gara. The 15-metre range is the one a fly-half should get. But in these conditions, 1 or 2 are missed. O'Gara ain't missing any of them.
Dennis Levy in possession. Difficult ball for O'Gara to take, and he takes Thompson as well. Just on the pitch, the Highlanders Rookie of the Year, who was, as they say in this part of the world, a bolter, a surprise selection for this All Blacks 22.
Well, Thompson had a wonderful game in the semi-final of Super 14 I said not semi-final, the last round when the Otago Highlanders beat the Crusaders, and I think that catapulted him. And now, what a chance for him. Soialu outstanding in the first half, off by the look of it, and a real opportunity for this man, the woolly mammoth.
Oh, Brad Thorne, was he taken out of the air there? He certainly fell awkwardly. Chris White says play goes on. Ali Williams stands over the ball, waiting like a predator. The All Blacks have looked pretty powerful in these situations, and they get the penalty. Ireland forced to concede there with hands on the ground.
Well, if you remember, New Zealand's last score came in the first half after a very similar, if closer range driving game. Ireland are being forced to concede penalties. And now Daniel Carter has to do what Ronan O'Gara does so well and nail the ones that look easy but are not. That looks like the end of Soialu. It's unfortunate for him. He's gone well there. And there you can see the penalty. More importantly now, will New Zealand punish Ireland?
Dan Carter has the driving rein at his back here.
Well, the great players are never put off by how poor they play. It doesn't matter. They've got the ability to bounce back, and I've seen this guy do that. But he's having a poor one. He really does need this one, as does his team.
Well, he kicked well in the Super 14 final, 15 points there, and maybe that will get him back on track here against Ireland in Wellington.
Another one for the New Zealand juggernaut pack there, and it's not slow, it's fast, it is dynamic, and it is causing Ireland problems there.
You just wonder, Stuart, will that aspect eventually wear Ireland down? We shall see.
Well, it will if New Zealand are able to play in the parts of the field where that really works. It's very important for O'Gara and Redding to make sure the men in green stay where New Zealand can't hurt them.
Richie McCaw is grappled by Donica O'Callaghan. Ellis to Carter. Redden just putting a bit of pressure on him there. And back goes Leamy, and the ball squirting over his head. Taken quickly, and here's Sivivatu. Carney, good feet from Carney. Straight down the middle of the field again. Ireland chasing hard and almost effectively. Mills Muliaina had to come sliding in there to save the day for his nation.
Well, it was hooked by Carney. He actually got the ball away under some pressure, but once again, New Zealand not claiming the ball there. There are just moments. There are flash points when they're so indecisive. I do think, Leon MacDonald is not the physical specimen that Muliaina is, but MacDonald wouldn't have let that one bounce. He'd have claimed it. Weaknesses still abounded in this All Blacks team.
Yeah. That's 4 or 5 times now the All Blacks have allowed the ball to bobble around in space. Nobody being decisive. Soialu probably has broken that nose, or a hard man like him would be back on, you would think.
Both drops, no bind. Up we go, lads. Far side. We said both of you. Just
I wouldn't write Rodney Soialu off. He's jogging in a manner that suggests New Zealand need him, and he needs to be out there.
He is.
He may have heard you. He has broken his nose perhaps, and he's still coming out. This is no time for faint-hearted All Blacks.
Well, he wants back on. It's Jimmy Heaslip who's gathered there by Ellis. And now it's Owen Redden. And it's Carney. Muliaina. Carney trying to craft something there with that elegant left boot of his.
Poor again from Muliaina. Ireland have done well, and there we go, Rodney Soialu, the Iron Man, is back out. But just saying, Carney, who's played a very sensible, intelligent game, not the greatest kick, but it's not high risk, and it's saying to New Zealand, well, come on, what can you do? And I don't know how many times today we have seen Carter and Muliaina slice balls and give Ireland good territory.
Adam Thompson winning his first cap there for the All Blacks, one of 3 uncapped players on the bench. Flannery, and it's Jamie Heaslip who knocks the ball on. And again, inconclusive Ireland there at the line-out. You can see Jamie Heaslip just remonstrating with the players around him. A bit of a problem there involving Tialata.
Well, there's no real excuse for Ireland, is there? With 7 of their forwards, Munster men, you know, they have to be more accurate than that. Whether it was the hooker, whether it was the jumper, whether it was the lifters, timing was not right there. And it has often been a case of timing. We've seen balls ending up around hip as the jumper has gone high, and Soialu snaffled 2 of those, I think, in the first half without actually jumping, didn't he?
The All Blacks with those foul memories of the Millennium Stadium. This is Paul O'Connell.
Oh, that's class. That's class.
It was a magical moment, and then the steal as well. Of course, he had that disappointing Lions series down here in 2005.
I think everyone went up under, though. It was an awful tour. It was poorly managed, and morale was dreadful.
Ireland trying desperately to put the pressure on at that scrummage. Carter chips through. Shane Horgan collects at the second attempt. And who's there first? Who else? Richie McCaw. He always gets himself into a position on the ground, McCaw. And here's Carney again. Ollie Williams was up fast with Soialu. And here's Mills Muliaina. Carter.
Oh, kick again.
Oh, it's Owen Redden. I watched him practicing kicks like that before the game, but Ellis gathers the ball now, and it's Carter once more. Now Tommy Bowe. Tuitavaki was pressurising Bowe.
Well, there's no doubt, just looking at the rain coming down, Mark, it's no longer swirling. It does seem to be behind the All Blacks. You saw Redden's last high ball. It was absolutely coming back at him. And no doubt now New Zealand are looking to play a kicking game, and McDonald has come on as well now. Who are we losing there? Tuitavaki. Its experience has become the game. Muliaina moves to the wing. McDonald to fall back as Tuitavaki has a... Well, he's got his cap, and that's precious for anyone becoming an All Black, but it's not been a night for wingers, has it?
Well, he's hardly touched the ball. Tuitavaki in the side due to the injury to Joe Rokathoko, who's had an operation on his wrist. And here's Andrew Hoare, straight to Ali Williams. Good line out. And John Schwalder. And crossing that gain line. Tialata, and there they go again. Soialu. This is where they've hammered Ireland. They've been dangerous. Andrew Hoare. And that pack starts to rumble, and it goes through the hands. The Irish pack are struggling. Soialu and Andrew Hoare, and they've made 15, 18 metres now. This All Black pack.
And quickly.
Tialata. Can they stop the big man? No, they can't. He is a monster. Here's Soialu, and at last Ireland gets some purchase in that contact area, but it's still a great position for the All Blacks here as Brad Thorne goes down the blind side, and the All Blacks go through the middle. Ellis and Ireland desperately defending down that blind side, and it's David Wallace who covered the ground well. He read the situation well, but now it's Schwalger, and now the All Blacks stringing out to the left-hand side. Ellis, can they use the numbers here? Manonu brought to ground. Good tackling again by Ireland, but it's desperate defence. Ellis once more. Now Dan Carter. Little chip through for Sivivatu. O'Carney had to be careful there. Oh my goodness, that was so close to a smash and grab try by the All Blacks.
Oh, I think Rob Kearney might have got very lucky there. He almost endured a Poitras moment. He waited too long. There's no try there. Conrad Smith cannot get anywhere near that ball. But is it off an Irish? Is it off Kearney's boot first? And a scrum 5. Very close.
22.
Well, it's a 22, but there have been a few occasions in this game where Ireland have done that very close to their own line.
This is a better kick from Carter, probably the pick of his kicks today now. Well, I think he misses it completely. Graham Henry, hands in the air. The great redeemer in Wales needs a bit of salvation. Oof.
Really best was all that, almost went straight to Conrad Smith there, who might have had a straight run to the line. That would have been an embarrassing try to concede. Back goes Leon McDonnell. Fresh man, very fine player, but a long deep kick puts Carney under no particular pressure. Cross comes Sivivatu.
Yeah, Ireland sitting quietly at the moment, but they must be thinking every minute that goes, even though we're into the wind, that man and his team will feel the pressure. Rob Carney again, they're just growing into it. He's made an error and he's got away with it, and then he's come back and found a lovely cross-field kick. Mark of a good player.
Jerome Kano of the Auckland Blues and Richie McCaw. McCaw leading the side yet again in his 60th appearance for his country. Only 2 New Zealanders have captained the All Blacks more. Sean Fitzpatrick one, Wilson Winnery the other. Only Williams taken out there by Paul O'Connell. And it's McCaw in possession for the All Blacks. It's just outside their 22 though. Crusader to Crusader, and the penalty is against Ireland here.
Frustration for Paul O'Connell, and worry as well, because Ireland are being tested in this area, and you may be thinking, why are New Zealand going from there? They're just going to work the legs, and there Carter with the flamboyant outside of the boot kick, and one has to say, not a particularly good one. I know it sounds critical, but when you're regarded, when you are one of the best players in the world, you're going to be judged on high standards, and he's not produced them today yet.
Already jumped, you heard the referee as Soyalo took the ball, and now here's Jerome Kano. And Ellis finds Ali Williams, tackle from O'Gara. David Wallace has worked very, very hard tonight. Tried to stay on his feet there and win the ball back, but New Zealand have it through Andrew Hoare. Tialata lands his 19 stone on the heap there and gives away the penalty here, New Zealand. And in Munster fashion, there's lots of pats on the back going on in there.
Scrapping for everything. You did wonder after the Heineken Cup final whether the Munster contingent would be emotionally wasted after that epic occasion in Cardiff, but they are finding plenty yet again. And now, with 25 minutes to go, Ireland in 103 years never beaten the All Blacks. Ireland are not going to lose this one for want of passion and for want of fitness. Kevin Mayalamu on now. It's going to get even harder in that driving game.
Yeah, the 29-year-old from Tokoroa with 50 caps to his name, Kevin Mayalamu. And a tremendous warrior for the All Blacks, and it's O'Callaghan who loses the ball this time. And it's taken by Tialata, squirts back, but no advantage. There was a knock forward there.
Just again, a decent attacking position, or at least a position where pressure can be applied, has gone as Ireland's line-out struggles. It really does.
Plenty of possession for the All Blacks in this second half. Pretty balanced on territory. It's getting more and more difficult in that tight phase. The conditions under feet getting very slippery indeed as the rain continues to drive down here.
And it doesn't become just a matter of talent at this stage in Test match rugby, it becomes temperament. And Ireland, they've had a difficult 9 months, a poor World Cup, a poor Six Nations, but it pales into insignificance behind the pressure that New Zealand are on, and they will feel this.
Kano leaves the ball. Here's Mal Nonu, 3 tacklers, O'Gara 1. But Nonu makes a couple of meters, and that was important that he did that. And here's Carter now off the right foot this time.
Much better kick from Dan Carter off his wrong foot. That's his right foot there, better than the left one tonight. Very good strike, using Nonu to just crash up and secure the ball in difficult situations. He did that well.
Rory Best, the Ulsterman, is on for Jerry Flannery. 25-year-old. 23rd cap now for Best.
No great surprise. Flannery had some problems in the line-out.
Problems again. Jimmy Heaslip was the target. Soriano got his hands on the ball once more, and here's Richie McCaw running hard in support at pace. Good line. Mal Nonu is the man of possession there. Now Brad Thorne, who's come back from several seasons in rugby league. Tialata and Schwalger now. Bit of a pile up there, and you were waiting for the whistle from Chris White.
Ireland very disappointed. They felt that ball was held up there, but I think you can see Schwalger has gone to the floor. Vague resemblance to Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now, Colonel Kurtz. Probably can do just as much damage.
Looks a bit like Odd Job as well, doesn't it? Without the bowler hat, of course.
Again, it's solar plexus stuff from the All Blacks, isn't it? They're not going for the knockout punch here. They're just working and working and working into the midriff of Ireland at the moment. And it is the likes of the front row forward who are just carrying hard. And that is, of course, how they played in the World Cup. It was their game. I remember calling them at Murrayfield against Scotland's second team. They did just that. They then went to the quarter-final. They did just that, but it wasn't enough.
They had 165 rucks in that quarter-final against France. New Zealand. Here's Carter. And again, Ireland know they have to keep a very close eye on Carter. 21 tries for New Zealand. He can scythe through your defence if you give him a chance, but it looks like they've lost possession here, New Zealand, and they have. And Ireland pounce. And there's a problem on the floor here that Chris White is very keen to sort out quickly. And Marcus Horan, who has a collection of yellow cards this season.
Well, card or not, this is stupid. Ireland had the ball.
We're playing advantage. You've dived in, there's use of the forearm on a player from their side on the ground, and it's no longer that, it's now a penalty against you for diving in with a forearm. Don't do it again.
It's not really a forearm, but it is a penalty, and that's just daft play from Horan. Ireland done such great, sterling defensive work. Well, there's a complete loss of discipline, and it gives Dan Carter what should be a relatively straightforward opportunity to give New Zealand a lead, but it looked as if the Irish defence had denied them.
From such an excellent position, Ireland, to such a negative one from their perspective. And New Zealand now attempt to take the lead through their superstar, Daniel Carter, slightly malfunctioning superstar this evening at times.
Show me the oil.
Carter strikes it well, and there's the 3 points they needed to take them into the lead by 14 points to 11. But Marcus Horan will take the blame for that.
Well, there's different sorts of three-pointers to give away in terms of penalties. You give some 3 points away when the pressure's unbearable and you accept it might be a return, it could have been worse. And then there are those when you give it away for no reason other than ill discipline, and that's going to hurt Ireland quite a lot.
Gara. Neil Ahmed. Ellis. Carter, and it was a difficult ball for Carter to take.
Good kick from Dan Carter there, a lot of pressure on him. And from a New Zealand perspective, if they could just keep the ball in Ireland's half with their line-out functioning so well, they can press Ireland into errors and they'll feel they can just squeeze their way towards a victory that is a long, long way from any sort of formality.
Vest goes to a tail taken by Leamy, and that's a much better line out by Ireland this time. Look at O'Callaghan there, just pumping those quadriceps, driving the pack forward, almost on his own there, O'Callaghan. Great stuff, and here's Horan. Trying to gain redemption of some sort after giving away those 3 points, and there's Horgan now. And the ball is knocked out of the grasp of Jamie Heaslip.
Call was in very fast there, Ireland trying to play a constrained game. Awful conditions, they don't want to go wide, but New Zealand marked that very well. This ball goes in field now. Look at McCaw, bang! He's so fast in there, and it's not a tackle, it's just smashing into him, but he's wrapped both arms round him, and he's not tackled him, he's just forced the ball out.
And he seems to appear from nowhere, and it's usually at pace. And as a result of that, it's All Black possession.
He's a player.
Carter. And this could be interesting, and it could be interesting for Ireland, for Rob Kearney, but the whistle's gone for the knock-on. Chris White was quite slow to blow there, but Kearney thought for a second he was away.
I think Chris White was waiting for a call in case Kearney chested this one down. There's the left hand. 50-50 call. It was a speculative kick from Carter. If it goes to hand, it's probably 7 for New Zealand. But if Kearney caught it, it's the lead for Ireland. Whew. Fine line stuff there.
Marcus Horan sitting on the bench now. Tony Buckley is the replacement prop for Ireland. And here's Ellis. And there's that little darting move from Dan Carter. This is where he's electric. That's the magician. And what a position for the All Blacks. Front football for Ollie Williams, and Ellis Soialo is outside him, and now they use it through Big Swalgar, and now Nonu, and Nonu is so close and over, and Nonu scores for the All Blacks. A little bit of magic at last from the maestro corner was what created that, and surely it was a score for New Zealand.
Is there any reason I can't walk the try?
Nonu uses his momentum brilliantly there. He picked a superb line off Svalga, he really did. But we waited a long time for Carter. It was worth it in the end. There you can see Nonu over the line. Quiet game, but there's nothing Ireland could do there because he's gone to ground early. He's just slid through. This is a try.
No reason.
Christophe Berdos is the TMO. Nonu gets the touchdown, but it was Dan Carter who slid in the stiletto knife through that Irish defence.
It's the first he's really looked to run in the game. He's been quite content to sit deep and kick. And when he did run, he just cut them to pieces. A little step there. People will think, should he have got through? But Carter just got such strong hips, got acceleration. And then together with Svalga, they set it up, and it's a cracking line from Nonu. I'm sure we'll see it in a second. Really good line.
Carter converts, and you can sense the tension easing around the cake tin after that.
Oh yeah, it was starting to grip tight, wasn't it? 14-11. Here it is. He just steps inside, I'm afraid, O'Gara and one of the back row. Strong. This is really important as well now. The prop forward stands in the tackle. Good ball, and Nonu's come in. O'Callaghan has to make the immediate tackle. He can't. Then the slide comes in, and then relief for Smith and Henry.
Carter, he really does have a supernova of skills. And produced one of them there. Just the right moment for New Zealand. O'Gara pumps it high. Ireland again, they chase hard. It was Carter, in fact, he got his hands to the ball first. Carter finding his mojo at just the right time. 65 minutes play. And now the lead is considerable. Carter. Decent purchase on that, but straight to Tommy Bowe. And now Rob Kearney. Up comes Mills Muliaina. Kearney runs straight into Ali Williams. That's Wallace. Filthy conditions out there. And it's all gone wrong in the last 10 minutes for Ireland. Marcus Horan giving away that penalty. And Dan Carter finding his way through a slightly porous Irish defence. But he does have tremendous dancing feet when he gets going, Carter. And here come Ireland through O'Connell. And Soialo makes the tackle on O'Connell. Tony Buckley is now the ball carrier, a former Newbridge lock before he was converted to a prop forward. All 22 stones of him, and he gives it to 12 stone 7 of Owen Redden. Now he's lipping. Rory Best on his shoulder.
Just don't think Ireland win a rugby war around the fringes. They can pick and go. New Zealand, they defend fast as they carry into that area fast. They're very dynamic around the fringe. I'm sorry, Mike, I was going to say, Buckley's a useful carrier, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. And he's pretty quick for his size, 6'5" and over 22 stone. Oh, but losing the ball there, but it went backwards. And Ireland get the penalty.
I think Ronan O'Gara has to go for 3 points here to get Ireland within a converted score of the draw. The crowd couldn't believe that. The aggressive kick is to go into the corner, but with the Irish line out struggling, the sensible call is to go for 3 points. Oh, I must say, that's forward from my position here. I can understand why the home crowd were disappointed. And afterwards, that is a penalty from Ali Williams. Shake your head all you like. Fine performance, but he was caught out there.
Ronald O'Gara into the rainstorm, reminiscent of his kick against Leicester a couple of seasons ago at Welford Road for Munster. Not quite as far, this one. Conditions are certainly similar, though. But Ireland need this desperately. Is it going to get there? It's so close. Oh, just underneath the posts. It was a big ask.
That tells you about conditions now. O'Gara falling short from 39 metres. It wasn't a bad kick, I don't think, but really has picked up now these conditions. And Ireland did need that one. Carter trying to feed his forwards, suddenly looking comfortable.
Ireland allow the ball to bounce, but Dennis Leamy collects it. Ali Williams tackles him, and Redden fires it out to O'Gara. David Wallace has carried the ball well tonight for Ireland, and frequently.
Ireland at the moment aren't able to manufacture enough quick ball, enough positive ball, and that means match winners like Brian O'Driscoll just can't get into this game. And I can't see Paul O'Connell's men muscling their way back into this game with a series of pick and drive. That's been New Zealand's area of strength. They've got to produce quick ball, and they've got to find a moment of brilliance from players like O'Driscoll, Carney, players we know can do that.
There's the tackle count. Gives you a pretty fair idea as to how the match has gone. Heaslip controlling at the base, a difficult ball to control. He's done well as they...
Well, again, apologies that the feed has gone down from Wellington, but it now looks, you have to say, as if it's a bit of a mountain to climb for Ireland. What was the turning point for you? Was it that Horan penalty that he gave away?
I think it was. You know, Ireland had done so well to get that penalty, the reverse, and then New Zealand getting ahead. You know, as Fitzhugh said, New Zealand teams love being ahead. They're much more comfortable with it. I think if Ireland had kept level, or you know, even got 3 points ahead coming into the latter stages, the pressure would have been building, and I think that's sort of really told. And New Zealand seems to be growing as a team.
OK, let's rejoin for the last 10 minutes of the game.
You've been turned.
Well, that's what happens when they're just struggling to make every metre. This is not to lose in the Heineken Cup final now with Munster. This is the All Blacks, and the All Blacks are hitting a little bit harder and faster, and there's not the same security, there's not the same certainty of possession. In the end, those errors will happen. I know conditions are difficult to use the backs, but Ireland are going to have to try something. Maybe put in kicks behind Sivivatu, maybe testing McDonald. But this alone now is not going to get them back into this game. You can see there the power of McCaw just jolts Paul O'Connell. And there you go, ball held, penalty. New Zealand take control again.
The All Blacks have been strong in battle, especially in the second half. Lee Williams again calls that line out. It goes to Soialo. This is an area where the All Blacks have looked pretty dominant through the game, especially their props. All three of them who've been on the park tonight. And look at Richie McCaw. Well, he's not the biggest man, but he is strong. But he's driven back that time because he met an impregnable force, Tony Buckley. Look at Buckley going there. He's keen. Ball's out though, and that's Mialamu who picks it up. Paul O'Connell, a problem with a contact lens, but can you see any way back for Ireland here? Is there any way they can break down this All Blacks defence?
No, I don't think they can. I think the problem now for Ireland is that New Zealand have got the ball, they've got possession, and they've got control. You know, it's a little bit like the Heineken Cup final, 15 minutes to go. Once Munster got the lead, you just thought the Irish province were going to win that game because they had control. New Zealand have control now, and I just don't see them losing it. Richie McCaw has been monumental, and with him Soialo, but it's the dynamism of the Blacks at the breakdown that has been the real difference. And when they keep possession, because they're so much quicker over the first metre or so, they're able to get over the gain line, and it's so much harder for Ireland to turn over the ball. And that's why that Marcus Horan penalty was so unforgivable, because Ireland haven't done that much this half. They'd nicked one there and then they gave the lead away.
Well, he sometimes appears turbocharged, as if he's playing almost at double speed, Richie McCaw.
It's like a replay that's just on television, isn't it? They're just, wow, that's fast, and then you think, oh, blimey, that's real time. Yeah. It was very interesting, wasn't it, Richie McCaw at the press conference yesterday, saying some of the lads might go for the money, but at the moment I don't think about anything other than playing for the All Blacks. And all night he has looked like a player who is so committed still to the old tradition, the grandeur that is New Zealand's legend as a rugby nation. McCaw is a leader for this team.
Well, there's Mal Nonu, who scored that so important try. And he's very, very difficult to stop when he gets into space. Maybe easier to stop global warming, and there's no sign of the effect of global warming here tonight, that's for sure. Look at that.
I don't know, it kicks other ways as well. Storms blowing up.
Peter Stringer there on for Owen Redden. Ireland's most capped scrum half. Stringer, Kano, just trips there over one of his own men. Soialo picks the ball up. And the All Blacks have been absolute brutes in these areas tonight.
Clearly worked hard on it, because this is how they played, and in the end lost against France. But it's been the core of their game today. It's been the area where Ireland not really been able to match them, and it's such a small area of the pitch, but it's such a big part of this game. Look at that again.
Well, at the time, it's like watching Munster in disguise, because I've seen Munster in the Heineken Cup doing this to so many sides.
Yeah, they're sort of out Munstering Munster, aren't they? But the slight difference is there's just a little bit more dynamism. Tialata's played very well. He's carried not many metres, but he's always gone a metre or two. And at last, I think for just about the first time, New Zealand are penalised, and Stringer says, we have to go here. Break the game up.
It's David Wallace yet again. And he has looked pretty dynamic this evening. Stringer, and it's O'Gara. They've got to get it wide here. Surely O'Gara holds onto the ball. Shane Jennings is on the pitch now as well, wearing 19. They underutilised Shane Jennings. Here's Paddy Wallace, the try scorer for Ireland in that first half. Oh, and it's Shane Horgan who takes the hit there from Jerome Kano. Stringer gets it out to Best. Stringer again to O'Gara. And it's Brian O'Driscoll. David Wallace once more, but the hack through is legal by Ali Williams. Rob Carney to O'Driscoll. And here it is, Leon McDonald. 6 Super 14 titles to his name. Pretty experienced individual. And chasing hard, and O'Gara, as Ireland chase the game, fires it inside, and Ireland get chased themselves. Little dummy from O'Gara was important. Here's Sivivatu. The All Blacks looking to finish this game in style. Here's Mills Muliaina, Sivivatu.
Ireland have just got to go for it now. 28-11, no real difference to 21-11. They've got to try and gamble, but they will open the field up.
Ellis, Carter, out to Richie McCaw, now popping up on the wing. And hammered into touch.
A little bit sloppy, that pass there. A little bit loopy. McCaw, 2 green shirts hit him, and Ireland get the turnover and the line-out throw.
And Thompson waiting to come back on for the second time in the game for the injured Soialo, who has a nose now like a melted welly.
A melted welly?
You ever seen one?
No, that's why I'm asking. I tell you what, it's appropriate tonight. You said there's no global warming, but what about a flooded Wellington? Now, this is unbelievable. I know it's bad here sometimes. I've been coming here for 25 years, and you do bring a cagoule, but this is something else, isn't it?
Well, you can see why Wellington are called the Hurricanes, because we've got one, almost. I've never seen players on the bench before wrapped in tarpaulins. That's a first.
Of course, it was a true hurricane. The tarpaulin would have blown away. Extremely windy, Mark. Let's not get too hyperbolic.
Let's go for mini hurricane then. A baby hurricane. Rob Carney is the injured player there.
I think he's played well. As is that man.
Well, it may not be a hurricane here, but Ireland suffering from turbulence in this second half, conceding that Nonu try. And they've felt the rapier of Dan Carter's running. He only had to do it once. And Callahan taking that ball on the line out. And Ireland drive.
There's no sign of the demoralisation that marked their World Cup. I mean, before the game, Michael Bradley saying we were nearer in the Six Nations to where we want to be. And to be honest, they're 10 points down, but except for the last 25 minutes, New Zealand were taking control. But this has been a proud performance. It's just, in these conditions, you do need to constrict your game. You do need to stay on the front foot so your kicking game has control, and they haven't been able to do that. In the end, it has been, apart from that one moment from Carter, it's been the gain line control of the Blacks that overall has dictated the tempo of this half.
And McCaw said before the game, when he was asked about that game in Cardiff against France in the World Cup, he said, I have no rear view mirror, I only look forward. 14 internationals they have before Christmas, the All Blacks, as they try to redeem themselves.
They've got to think about the history of why they lose games as well, though, haven't they? Last chance for something magical, perhaps, from Ireland's backs in awful conditions. Will they be trusted?
Now playing into those conditions in this second half, which have deteriorated as the game has gone on.
Into the wind, of course, helps with passing, as we saw with Sivivarti's first half try, but very difficult. There's no quick ball for Stringer. Stringer needs to activate a bit more pace there. And no, it's hard, but they've got to try and get quick ball.
This is how we've seen Munster run down the clock when they're in the lead. But of course, they're 10 points behind this time. Stringer, chip for Horgan, and it's in the touch of Sivivarti. He's worked very hard tonight as Rodney Soialo in the loose and also in the line-out.
Cool, he's been good in the line-out. What I like about his performance is the fact Ireland haven't known where he's been. We wondered about Paul O'Connell versus Ali Williams, but it's been the fluidity of Soialo that's been the big problem for Ireland. He's moved around. Thorne's been at 2 a lot of the time, but Soialo's been everywhere, and he has been a voracious line-out forward.
Well, he played full-back at school, Soialo, so he does have good hands. Paul O'Connell straight into the bread basket, that throw. His 5th collection, but it's pulled down. The penalty here to Ireland. 10 points behind, remember. Penalty and converted try, but only 1 minute and 40 seconds in which to achieve it.
We've seen Ronan O'Gara in the red of Munster effect miracles, but this one is beyond the Munster men. Combining with Ulster and Leinster and a little bit of Wasp, they have not got the time now. It's 103 years and counting for Ireland. They've been
Again, we're just a couple of minutes ago. Unfortunately, we've lost the pictures from Wellington, as you can see, or rather not see there. It's gone now, as far as Ireland are concerned, you'd have to say, wouldn't you, Paul?
Yeah, no, it has, and as I said, New Zealand are growing as a side. You know, very valiant effort by Ireland. You know, a lot of areas didn't really perform like the line out and that, and I think if they had and it got more quality possession, it might have been in a better position. But 1 or 2 silly errors really, I think, turned the game for Ireland. And you know, you can't afford to do that. You can't afford to leave New Zealand get quick ball as they did when Carter made that break. If that happens, you know, it's just too much to do to try and beat the All Blacks.
In the second half, the pick and drives a real success for New Zealand. Is that the
definitely
key?
Pick and go through the middle. That was an area which they targeted, and it worked well. And they got on top of Ireland.
OK, we'll talk more in a couple of minutes' time, but let's get back to the dying embers of the game. And that is the end of that. A brave display by Ireland, but in the end, New Zealand just too strong in the second half. They were a little rusty in the first period, but Dan Carter it was with the break that led to the Ma'a try in the second half. And that closed it out as far as the All Blacks are concerned.